follow the wind.
According to the letter...
Sorry, we don't serve the general public.
Wait! We're not the general public!
Well then, you must be a couple of wandering outlanders that snuck into the nation.
Are our clothes really so... what...
The Yassiro Commission's seal. This must be from Mr. In which case, welcome to the Komore Tea House, a safe haven.
Well, that sounds more... Well, now that we're here... Pаймon doesn't seem any...
Who forgot their promise? I was beginning to think you'd forgotten about me.
What? Is that...
Relax, no need to look so surprised. I take it this is the first time you've seen me in this form? Huh. So you didn't see anything like this when...
now that you mention it, this does suddenly seem less out of the ordinary.
Alright, I've had my fun.
Hey! You're this close to getting an
Well, I've had some time to kill, given that I've been waiting here for you for so long, as was the case in Rito. So I came up with this little fun greeting for when you arrived. But in all seriousness, I would like to apologize about that little test. It helped us determine whether or not to bring you before Ms. Kamisato, and whether you had the courage to face the lightning alongside us.
Don't think that Paimon's gonna forgive you just because...
Sorry, did I overdo it? My apologies. Let me just say this. You've often found yourself skirting the rule. Naturally, this is due to your unweight. A long time ago, we had a friend who was much the same. But when the lightning struck... so you've heard of his story. His light still burns all the more brightly. Yes, of course. I will bring you to the Kamisato residence where the Yassiro Commission is located. But before that, there is one other place I was hoping...
Oh? Where?
I would like you to come with me to the statue of the omnipresent god. It's still under construction now, but...
This area sure feels gloomy. Huh? Are Paimon's eyes...
Visions.
Visions? You mean all the visions that are collected from the Vision Hunt decree are put into this statue?
So you've already heard of the Vision Hunt decree. Before I try to explain, I should perhaps remind you first, as for Inazuma, it's known as the Raiden Shogun is both the nation's most powerful ruler, and the eternity in question is her endless and unchanging will to rule over Inazuma. As such, she relies on the Tri-Commission to regulate the nations. The Shogun wishes to keep Inazuma in stasis, allowing the stream of time to flow from one end to the other without disturbance.
Seems like every god has their own will.
Of course, this is my own limited understanding. As for perhaps the Shogun believes that visions grant people the power to change, and that whatever the case, the fact is that the Raiden Shogun has dispatched the Tenryou Commission to scour the nation, and this statue of the omnipresent god can be seen as Inazuma's symbol.
But if that's the case, wouldn't you say...
Only outlanders such as yourselves would ever dare speak out so directly against the... And yet, I agree. The Vision Hunt decree is something that's...
Huh? Hey, are you okay? You look like your mind is out.
Sound? What sound? I didn't hear anything. Did something happen?
to touch the statue, and then...
Aspirations? That would seem to confirm the saying. Have you heard it before? That when a person's ambition reaches a certain strength, that is where visions come from. In other words, a person's vision represents their ambition. So if what you just said is true, then the ambitions of these people are stronger than I imagined. All right, time for the next stop on our tour of Narukami Island, the Kamisato residence.
Fine. So, this is the kind of place where the big shots of Inazuma live, huh? Paimon kinda expected it to be...
Welcome at last to the Kamisato residence, honored guests.
Is this the Shirazage Himegimi you keep going on about? Oh, behind the screen?
Yes. As the daughter of the Yassiro Commission, this is how Miss Kamisato is accustomed to receive. Consider it a time-honored tradition within the Yassiro Commission. Forgive me if this is an unwelcome.
Makes sense. She's as...
Please forgive my lack of courtesy for receiving you in this fashion. I have awaited your arrival with great anticipation. And Toma assures me that you at present in Inazuma, in the name of the Vision Hunt Decree, though the Yassiro Commission serves the Shogun, it is the people with whom we share close bonds. A commission's power rises and falls with the trust of their people. Thus, we cannot remain traveler. Lend us your power, and we can... Oh...
See, milady, it's just like I said. This will take a...
No, please! Wait! Please, don't go! I will introduce you to the Raiden Shogun on one condition. You must fulfill 3...
What are your wishes?
They pertain to 3 whose visions were taken from them. Perhaps once you've met...
A warrior who guards a village, a former samurai who helped carry out the vision...
Correct. Please do all you can to help them.
I'm sure you'll do great.
See, where's the person I...
Why are you doing this? Why leave all of a sudden, after all?
Precisely. It's much too sudden. We've had no time. The children are desperate for you to take them out to play. Please, we...
That must be the guy Ayaka told us about.
Ah, you must also be here to try and... Teijima has protected this place ever since here, keeping out the treasure hoarders, fending off any monsters that draw near, resolving quarrels. But now, all of a sudden, he says he plans... We will gladly apologize if that's the case. All we want is for him to stay.
If you want my opinion, it's clear that Teijima had done nothing wrong, and still they confiscated. I can't claim to fully understand it, but I could tell that he'd lost something very... Truth be told, we aren't sure whether trying to keep him here is...
Seems like he's a well-respected... You must be Teijima. So what's...
Me? It's not a question of why I want true. And what made me want to come here 30 years ago? I don't have answers to those questions, because I can't In the past, I knew I wanted to stay here. But whatever resolve I
Okay. Well, in that case, if we help you if you can't remember and... Oh, maybe if you just try a little harder to remember, then...
Oh, that reminds me. Last time I brought Tejima some...
I keep a diary?
Oh, yes, you do. And what's more, I remember you saying a...
Perfect! So if we want to keep Tejima from leaving, we just need to...
If you don't mind, we will leave you to find the diary.
Time to go.
This looks like Tejima's... Let's see what we have today. The villagers and I got together to cook dry braised salted fish. Today, I helped rescue a kid who had fallen in the water. After I pulled him out, I went kite flying today. The string broke, so I chased after it as fast as I could. I soon realized I was never going to get it back. So I just... Seems like you're at... Huh? Wait! I went to pray at the shrine again today and stayed there a while. The Omamori you gave me has faded. Now that's the kind of info we're looking... So this is the Omamori interesting. Looking at the... But anyway, if he had this with him all the time... The soil looks like it's been disturbed. Maybe must be something pretty amazing if it made him stick around. It looks like a letter. Konda Village. Sounds so familiar. Where is that place again? So the reason but he's been here for 30 years. Well, let's go give Tejima his...
Well, I'll be. That's certainly my handwriting. But I have no memory of any... Still, it's clear that I was way... Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. And just look at all the things that did happen. How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Love, regrets? No. After all, I've forgotten who she was. It's as if she'd never been in my life to begin with. As if all these years... I think... maybe not. If this is some... Although, what if she were to turn up eventually? When I think about it like that. How curious. Why am I thinking like this when I don't even remember who she is? I shall remain here.
Tejima seems to be dealing okay, but still, seems it's just like Ayaka and Toma were saying. If you lose your vision, that certainly explains the state Tejima would. At least we were able to help him. What? According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision is a samurai from the Tenryou Commission. They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law and order in Inazuma. But why would they take action? Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold this month's emergency provisions?
The entire clan is counting on that food. We demand an explanation. How many times do I have to say it? I don't know anything.
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you understand? Not some goods to be pocketed by greedy—
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this!
Oh, huh? And who are you? One of Kurosawa's gang, no doubt.
What? We heard the commotion and came to—
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. Perhaps this is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area, and he's the one responsible for distribution. In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he's keeping the provisions for himself. I just know it. We'll stop—
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man, but he's shown his true colors. It's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden Shogun doesn't need people like him helping her rule.
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But what? Maybe we should talk to Kurosawa.
I've never even heard of these. I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But my own family can barely get by as it is. No, if you'll excuse me, I've got other matters. And that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision.
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce the—
To be perfectly honest, all I know is that I will perform certain things every month. And it's not just that. I have this—
Does it have to do with the missing—
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking— To top it all off, my house was just raided by treasure hoarders. Which is why I came here. If you don't believe me, go find the treasure hoarders yourself.
Huh. But we better confirm. Let's go round up those treasure hoarders and we should be able to follow their tracks.
Follow the wind. We really outdid ourselves. All those samurai houses packed with goods. We really hit the jackpot.
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot more of this. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey.
You demand, boss!
These seem like the treasure hoarders were—
Another test.
Oh, there goes all the Mora. We worked hard to steal that, you know? Come on, boss. Think of something.
Not bad, kid. You ever think of joining the treasure hoarders? We could Kurosawa. Oh, I remember. So he's the one who sent you after us, huh?
So what did you see inside?
Food supplies. You kidding? That place was a complete mess. All we found was a strange look. I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening it. But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal?
You've got a deal. Now
Huh?
What the?
There's nothing in here but
yeah. A lot of— and they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general good. We better talk to this Miss Aoi. As for you guys, you're free to—
Yes.
So, we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs.
Shut it. Let's just...
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. We've got everything you need. Or perhaps they're— Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa.
Whoa! Let's not get ahead. How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much money?
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost.
So that's how he was getting— But why did he have to purchase a usual amount? If the price is—
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have— Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough. So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather.
Wow. Kurosawa was and no one ever appreciated what he did.
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. If you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. What he was doing. As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency provisions, and if you're still curious, why don't you... I see. That was most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no
Sword? What?
Oh, didn't he tell you? He possesses... I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was in hindsight. I regret that I never made an offer on it. Everything has it. Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps... Oh, but before you go...
But we did...
Information... Don't worry. I won't charge much for information about Kurosawa. Nothing we have...
At least we now know where the emergency provisions are. Let's go talk to Kurosawa again. What are you doing here all by yourself?
I presented them with a choice. Either they left or I drew my... It turned out to be a real time saver, actually. Perhaps I should start using it more often. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoarders?
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really were distributing...
Strange. Is that really the kind of person I was? I don't really have any such recollection. Even after all you've told me. Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why? But I could not deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense this sword was... I remember once when I was young. I wanted to sneak out with the blade. What did he say? It would seem that I forgot many important things when my vision was taken from me. All I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his and said to me,
Hey, if you look carefully, there seems to be some... Can you recognize the words?
Virtue and somehow those two words seem to taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. But what use are virtue and justice? The Tenryou Commission sees my vision, and the very people. And the irony of all of it is, I'm incapable of being a good person, yet I'm equal.
Yet another troubled soul. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. In any case, we must never let him sell off that Yeah. Seems like, fortunately for us, you don't have... Let's go find the next poor soul.
Time to go.
The third person who had their vision taken is supposed to be a famous swordman. Pаймon heard that he's the present-day master of miHoYo Shisui art. Sounds pretty impressive. This is his dojo. Luckily, there's some people around.
Nanako, don't worry. Sensei will be fine. Those thugs that challenged the dojo were strong, but he fought them all off in the end, didn't he?
Maybe, but things have gotten dangerous before in the past, but
It's just because he's been possessed, that's all. Once the exorcism is taken...
Hey there!
Who are you? I don't care whether you're trespassers or just here to harass us while Sensei is impaired. Don't make me draw my blade, or you won't live to
No! You got it so wrong! We just came here to...
Disciples?
Yep. We've heard all about the mighty master of miHoYo Shisui art. It's the whole reason we came all this way. But then we got here and overheard you talking.
From the way you're... Please, accept my apologies. We've had so many people try. You haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. Sensei got possessed recently, and he's still recovering. I see you are earnest in your pursuit. Okay, how about this? My fellow Sensei's name is Domon. A name I'm sure, though self-taught, he mastered the art of the sword to a high level. He once said that his goal was to become the best, and so, even while training us, he continued to hone his own art. But then...
Not long ago, Sensei had his he says the strangest things over and over. Junya and I have discussed it, and we both think that he's being possessed by an evil spirit. But if I'm honest, I still have...
The Grand Narukami Shrine?
You haven't heard of it? It's the largest shrine on Narukami Island. The head shrine maiden, not that we'd have any means of involving the head shrine maiden, of course. But even so, don't worry, Nanako. Since the exorcism will take place this evening, you're both...
So, losing your vision can cause possession?
Shh. So you decided to come. It's a good thing you didn't arrive any earlier. Just now, when Nanako was attending to him, when she asked him who the people were, it looked like he was in great distress. He was covering his ears and looking frantically around. All the while he kept calling those names. Some of them we knew. Others we didn't recognize. One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's. His senior, in fact. Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. The ritual has now begun. All we can... Please, excuse me for a moment while I fetch some water.
Huh? Who's that sneaking around? Uh-oh. We won't let them get away with it. Come on, Seems they aren't here. Should we keep going further up? Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up. Aha! Suspicious person sighted! That's gotta be him!
How did you catch up with me? Are you sure you're Domon's disciples? Unless... I guess it's been a few...
Excuse me? And what are you doing sneaking around these parts?
Bad news? I'll have you know I don't care to talk about that time anymore. But if you must know, I am...
His senior?
Anzai. Yes, that's me. Because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone else associated with him ever again. When we were young, we trained under the same sword master. I had begun training 5 years before him, and everyone looked up to me as a steady and practitioners of miHoYo Sui art seek to achieve stillness of mind, freedom from all that. But Domon was different. The first thing he did when he joined was go straight. Sensei scolded him and told him that the art of the sword should not be used for such vain ends. Sensei said that coveting the title of the... I thought so too at the time. But Domon began making swift. Only then did I realize that it was Domon who had lost. He was consumed by his singular desire to become the best in the world. He sought...
Sure sounds like he meant business. So how come...
Because until he arrived, I was convinced that I would succeed Of all the disciples, I was the most gifted. I had trained the... Domon's arrival changed everything. When we sparred, I lost not... Later, I heard that he sparred with Sensei, too. Sensei was advanced in years by then. After that, I wanted nothing further to do with him. Deep down, though, So, when I heard rumors that he had lost his mind,
My first reaction was to dismiss them as false. I decided to quietly come and see if it were true. Then, so you see, I came here. Okay, you've heard my story.
Seems like we got it wrong this time. Still, Paimon's not sure we should bring him back with us.
What? You're saying does that mean he's just lost his mind? But how is that?
Nanako, please.
I am sorry. With what powers I have, I can find but spirits may take a myriad of forms in this world, many of which I cannot claim to have witnessed myself. And all is certainly not lost, for I received word not—
Lady Yai? Is that—
The head shrine maiden of the Grand Narukami Shrine? That's wonderful news! Then
Correct. Lady Yai is most knowledgeable indeed, and has abundant experience. I am unable to say for certain whether an evil spirit has possessed your sensei.
Excuse me, Miss Inagi, but I must ask.
That won't be necessary. All that is required of you is your I must leave now, but we will meet soon at the shrine.
Who'd have thought Lady Yai herself would have taken notice?
Do you mean to say that Sensei isn't renowned enough to deserve—
No, that's not what I meant at all. You I just mean this is Lady Yai, the head shrine maiden. Anyway, you should, given that you've traveled all this way just to meet our sensei. We, the disciples—
Sure! After all, everyone seems— Who knows? Maybe we'll be able to find—
Time to go.
Do you think that's Lady Yai? Oh, no wonder Junyo is— Also, is it just Paimon? Or did she look it was probably nothing.
Keep away. Keep away from me. I gave up the art of the sword. Please.
As you can see, Lady Yai, Domon has persisted in this state for some time now. He appears to see those who have—
Lady Yai, it must be a possession, right? This is nothing like him at all. In the past, no matter what came his way, he would
I'm sorry. It is clear to me that your sensei is not possessed.
But then did—
Yes. This is a change in the person himself. Unable to cope with the tremendous pressure he was under, he suffered a spiritual collapse, as one who is thrown into the sea, though he fights back desperately against— As for what has triggered this change, I believe it must be the loss of his vision.
Stripped of his ambition? But Lady Yai, even without his ambition—
Your school practices miHoYo Shisui art, does it not? Stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. What a fine notion that would be if any in this world could ever hope. There was once one who claimed to be indifferent to rank and reward, and who fled enraged when defeated by his junior. And then there was an aged swordmaster. Then, what of the one who crossed blades with his own sensei and beloved
Lady Yai, I'm not sure I am—
The path of the swordmaster is filled with twists and turns. It requires one to take their sword firmly in both hands and cut down the hopes. Only a deep commitment to his ambition to become the best made it possible for him to rise above. When that ambition disappeared, he began to doubt himself. Much like a certain
Poor sensei.
I'm sorry, Father, Sensei, Ansai.
That's enough.
Huh? Isn't that Ansai? Did he follow us the whole way here?
Ansai, why are there two of you? You're here for revenge, aren't you?
You're right to assume that my feelings towards you are far from kindly. It's been so long now that I made peace with it years ago. You did nothing wrong. I don't think most of the people you beat along the way would hold it against you. On the contrary, when you cut our ambitions short, now I know that we can't place our hopes in you any longer. But that is no reason to strip them of theirs. Follow—
But what if one day, the same thing happens to them? I put everything I had into trying to become the best. But if there's a chance they'll end up like me one day, I'd rather they stay where they are now.
Have you asked them what they think?
Sensei, after you rescued me from the hands of the pirates, I can't know whether I will suffer in my future. I want to keep going until the day that I can stand before everyone with my head held high and—
Nanako's far from the only one. Actually—
Goodness.
You see? You can place the ambition you once— Being stripped of your ambition is something that's never happened to me. So I can't claim to understand it. But I do know what it— So, just as I once placed my ambitions onto you, you are not in the same position that I was. When I left—
I'm sorry to have made you worry for me, and for the state of miHoYo Shisui. I no longer have the resolve to become the best in the world. The emptiness and suffering, but as your sensei, I shall commit to impart— This is my promise. And I humbly ask Anzai—
You can count on that. I'd be checking in on you occasionally but I am now used to the life of a wanderer. I do not belong in the dojo anymore. Well, don't just stand there staring at me. Say thank you to Lady—
So even though his ambition was taken away, his disciples can take it over.
Traveler, a moment, please.
So, the wind that blows from afar carried for us to meet now is premature. Nevertheless, you set foot on these islands at precisely the right moment. I have high hopes for you, child. Don't disappoint me.
Ooh, Lady Ai she seems super mysterious. We can come back to it another time. Guess who fulfilled all your wishes? Huh? Ayaka! Huh?
Traveler, Paimon. It is a pleasure to finally— I have heard all about how you helped our three friends. My sincerest thanks to you.
Yeah. Ayaka, how come—
Because now that you have done the three things I asked of you, I consider you—
Oh, wait a second. But isn't Toma your, sir—
Oh. Paimon, you are most entertaining. Toma is first and foremost my friend, and was—
Oh, okay then. Ayaka, you seem pretty different.
Think back to the matter at hand. You have now witnessed the pain of those deprived of their visions. Perhaps in the eyes of a deity such as the almighty Shogun, the lives of those who inhabit the world are inconsequential. Thunders roar, lightnings flash, the winds assault, and the rains descent. All these things take place with— But I believe that surely you understand. It seems that perhaps now you can appreciate my feelings on all of this. You will? Really? Naturally.
All right, bravo, my lady. You were—
See? I told you he wouldn't reject them. I'd place... Now then, given that the remainder of our discussion pertains to matters of a more confidential nature...
Well, here we are again.
Please continue without me. I'll keep wa-
So, what's the deal with this place anyway? What makes it your favorite meeting spot?
This is land that was gifted to the Yassiro Commission by the Shogun. The Kamisato clan has the exclusive right to plan, build, and repair any property on this land, and even to allow or deny access. Such privileges exist due to the Yassiro Commission's role in managing ceremonial affairs.
Oh, Paimon gets it. Gotta keep a bit of mystery, right?
Once the number of ceremonial affairs conducted in the city began to decline, our forebears built...
Makes sense. Perfect place for a secret base.
In any case, we can talk freely here. I presume you... The almighty Shogun. I've seen her. She inspires awe, commands respect, and exudes as... It was her almost complete lack of any emotion. In that sense, she appeared to me to be less of a... The issue is this. For the vast majority of people, the vision... After all, it is but a tiny minority of people who receive visions. Because of this, the attitude...
How can they be like that?
Nevertheless, in addition to us...
Resistance? You mean like an army?
Yes. Many who have lost or fear losing their visions have rallied together under... To say a little more about Sangonomiya. Historically, but I do wonder whether there may be some other agenda behind their resistance. Of course. We have tried on numerous occasions. Unfortunately, each time a they invariably adopt a stance of unconditional support for the It almost makes one wonder whether they had a hand in the Shogun's sudden decision to...
Ooh, Paimon has a...
Oh? What would you like to know?
Have you got a plan yet to fight the
To be honest, we do not.
What?
Please, do not forget that challenging the Vision Hunt decree is tantamount to challenging it.
So...
Well, for the moment, all we can do, for example, by providing vision bearers with safe...
You're telling Paimon that there are...
Don't underestimate the talents of the craftspeople in Hanamizaka. To the naked eye, their counterfeits are indistinguishable from the problem we are facing right now is that Master Masakatsu, who was providing us with counterfeits...
Darn! So they found out about it?
Yes. We knew it was not a long-term solution, and that it was only a matter of... Exactly. I feel the same way. But given mine and Toma's identities as part of the Yassiro Commission, breaking him out of prison... By no means do... When you are ready, go to Hanamizaka and look for a fireworks shop run by the...